Okay, so we're making dinner. We're gonna do a butternut squash soup today. So we've got butternut squash, of course. We've got a bell pepper, onion, a little bit of ginger, not much, just like a little inch knoblet, some zucchini, I'm gonna like chop it real thin. I just think that having a little double squash situation, little texture thing could be fun. Carrots. I also am gonna do garlic and celery. Yeah. Kale and milk. That's a crazy saying, like, kale and milk. What a mixture. No. Bread also. I might make croutons. I might make croutons. I don't know. So I do this thing. Let's grab these. So I do this thing, a little life hack here, where I will pre-mince my things into little cubes and freeze it, just because it's, for these weeknight meals, it's just so much more convenient. Same for my celery. So it's pretty easy to do. Like, you'll literally just mince whatever it is that you have. If you have a food processor, it makes it even faster. You'll just put it in like a Ziploc bag. I know, microplastics, awful. How could you do that without plastic? A paper bag? I don't know. I use a Ziploc bag. I'm just yapping. So Ziploc bag, once you have it all chopped up, you're just gonna lay it in as flat as you can. And then usually what I do is, I don't have one nearby me, but let's pretend this knife is a chopstick. I will just kind of section it off with the chopstick and then place it into the freezer. And then you'll have these little bricks that will break off. I think I already showed you the garlic. You'll have these little bricks that will break off. And yeah, it's just a lot easier. To start, we are going to chop our butternut squashes in half. Oh, also, new camera. Yeah, this little baby one kind of conked out on me. This is the third attempt to film a second episode of YAPMEALS. Because this guy, as much as I love it, I'm gonna use it for handheld shots and just like little small things. But for using it as my main guy, it doesn't really work. Unfortunately, it would just stop recordings randomly. So I'd be on this like 15-minute tangent, and then only like 8 minutes of it were recorded. So it's like, hey, here's YAPMEALS episode 2, half of it is a podcast. You know, it just didn't seem viable. So maybe I'll touch on some of the things that I talked about in that episode. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It's a new day. There's new things. So yeah, butternut squash. Chop it down the half pipe. We're gonna see how well this goes for me, actually, because my knife needs to be sharpened. Maybe I actually go in with the cleaver. Maybe that's the move. The wedge. Oh yeah, like butter, man. Como la mantequilla. See? Oh no. I've been practicing Spanish. I feel like I don't know if I want to live in a Spanish-speaking country one day. I used to be pretty decent at Spanish in high school. I don't know if it was illegal. Well, no, I doubt it was illegal. I'm sure that my school was not breaking the law. It felt illegal. In high school, I taught a Spanish 2 class. I was in Spanish 4 at the time, and the Spanish teacher, not mine, but the other Spanish teacher, went on maternity leave, and they could not find a substitute who could teach Spanish. So instead, they got someone to look after the class while I taught the curriculum. Wow. Squashes smell, it's that pumpkin smell, you know? Whenever you're like doing jack-o'-lanterns. Shout out Halloween. I was Beast Boy. I'll probably like put a picture up of me being Beast Boy. Yeah, taught the class. Probably illegally. I would have done it all day if I could. I think that's where I found out that I really like teaching. I think one day I'd love to be a professor. Of course, I'm not even finished with my undergraduate yet, so that's many years down the line before I have a doctorate and then teaching. Maybe if I'm lucky, while I'm in my doctoral program, I'll have some time to be an adjunct professor or a lecturer, teach a couple classes. We'll see. New York. Hello. Zohran Mamdani? Words. Mamdani. I was telling people this morning we're hopemaxxing. It's really sad to me that we're kind of in the state of America. All you have to do to be a beacon of hope is be in a place of power and do what you're supposed to do, right? As a mayor, as a governor, as whatever, any political official, your job is to service your constituents. And Mamdani comes in and is like, yeah, I'm gonna help fix the cost of living, and I'm not gonna bend to the billionaires, and I want affordable housing and free transportation. I can't believe that sounds like the devil to people. That they're like, oh my God, like he wants. There's memes that I've seen. I'm sure that some of you have seen it as well, where Fox News put up some of Mamdani's supposed policies, things that he would want to enact if he were elected. And yay, he got elected, so we'll see these things. Hopefully he's a man of his word. I trust that he is. He's quite convincing, I'd say. Very charismatic. Kind of reminds me of Obama and the candidacy that he had. Just very charismatic. Very good in debates. So regardless of if he is going to be a good mayor or not, one thing is for sure, and that's he's a really good candidate. Yeah, kind of a masterclass that he put on, in my opinion, of appealing to the youth and really making it seem like he'll create a new New York. And that's awesome. I was going to maybe microwave the butternut squash, but no, I'm just gonna cube it up and cook it down. But yeah, this is what we're looking like. They're like little somethings. It's almost time for everyone's favorite segment, chopping time. Real quick, I'm gonna throw some tea on the pot. I promised my roommate jasmine tea, because who doesn't love a good jasmine tea? I went to, I got beef with, what's the place called? Fuck. It's where all the white people love to go. Why am I stuck on that? Sweet Hut. I got beef with them, man, because I don't know about you guys. Never once in my life have I said, I want jasmine tea. Make it sweet, right? So apparently there's like a minimum amount of, or like default amount of sugar that they put in all of their things. And they're psychopaths for that. So I order a jasmine tea, plain jasmine tea, and I'm expecting, I don't know, plain green tea. Hello? They give me it and it's sweet. It's so sweet. Like, if this is their default sweetness, that's kind of crazy, because this was like McDonald's sweet tea level of sweet. Like, holy shit. Who actually eats or drinks their jasmine tea this way? That's the whole point of green teas. They're herbal. Like, you lose all those herbal notes whenever you throw a shit ton of sugar in there. I don't know. I'm getting mad over tea that I had like 3 months ago. I don't know what I'm getting on about. Yeah. Sweet Hut, don't sponsor me. Actually, they have good desserts. Don't sponsor me for your tea. Just stop putting sugar in your fucking green teas and we'll be okay. Yeah, Mamdani. Yeah, the meme where he's like, yeah, I want free baby carriers for all mothers. And Fox puts that on the graphic of like Mamdani's socialist promises. And it's like, first off, socialism is a good thing. I don't care. What? A government redistributes the wealth that it has been given by its constituents in the form of taxes, redistributes that into social programs like transportation, like welfare, like health, things that everyone should have. Hello? Whatever. Anyways, yeah, they were like, this is what Mamdani's socialist New York would look like. And it's like, oh my gosh, mothers get baby carriers? People truly don't understand that communism and socialism are a different thing. That's crazy. People were like, yeah, well, part of it is that Trump purposely misinforms people. I think that he's much smarter than we give him credit. I also don't think that he's a genius. However, heat is on. I have this garlic oil from whenever I roasted. Oh, pro tip. Cooking rule number 34. Bottles. Bottles. Keep all sorts of bottles. They're so amazing. I keep soy sauce, oil, this stuff called bulldog sauce, I think is what it's called. Shoshing wine, all sorts of stuff. And it's just so much easier to be able to pop this off. Bam, a little bit of oil in the pan, we're done. You know, rather than like, oh, let me screw off this top. Let me make sure that I'm not, you know, dropping in too much. It provides uniformity, I guess is the point that I'm getting at. Bell peppers on, because in my mind, bell peppers probably are going to take the longest to soften. Carrots are about to be next when I chop. That's all it takes to be a beacon of hope. It's like, hey, so I'm not gonna take your money and run with it. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's the next coming of Jesus. It's like, while it is great, I am very happy for New York and the potential progress that they could see in the next, well, however long he remains mayor, right? I'm happy for them. But at the same time, it's like, this is all it takes for all of America, like people all over America, and even people in other countries being like, oh my gosh, wow, there's hope in the world. It's like crazy to me to think like the bar is an absolute hell, truly. But whatever, it's where we're at now. We can grope, or we can focus on the fact that there is hope and be grateful for that. And I'm gonna do that instead. We're hope maxing. That's what we're doing these days. I'm going with rough chops, by the way, because it's soup. I'm gonna blend all this shit up anyways. I'm also really vulgar today. What's happening? What's happening to me? I get a new camera and I start acting bold, huh? I guess so. Rule number 41. I think it was 41. I think that's what I said. Rule number 41. Get a bench scraper. Look at that. All in one go. Easy. Easy, breezy, beautiful. Now the ginger I'm actually going to try to cook. I'm going to try to cut a little bit more finely, just so more of its flavors dissipate. I don't know if that's a real thing. It just sounds right in my head, so I'm doing it. That's just kind of what I do, man. I feel like it makes me so much happier going through life living that way. Just like, I kind of feel like doing this. So yeah, let's do it. Like there's this movie, wow, that tea is already, you hear that? Can you, here, let me put the mic. Actually, that probably sounds horrendous to you. Let me take this off. Let me not make this a horrible experience for you. Yeah, there's this movie called, I think it's Amelie? Amelie or the Rain character, something. Anyways, looks like an adorable little movie. Beautiful art style. There's no outlines. It's like a beautiful pastel. I'll have the name in text of what the movie actually is so that you guys can go look. And I'm gonna encourage you to go watch it before I even go watch it, before I even know if it's actually good, because it just looks so beautiful. Hey, now that I have a new camera, you guys can actually see me cut correctly and not just a big like ball of fuzz, huh? I'm assuming you guys can see what's going on. I saw the trailer for that and immediately was like, yeah, let's go watch that. No one to watch it with me, but you know, I have myself, and that's awesome. So yeah, do things on a whim, man. It's it makes life, well, whim, right? Provides some whimsy to your life. I think, what's you guys' favorite compliment to receive? I think for me, I've always been called happy-go-lucky, as if it's a bad thing, right? Of like, I'm just careless, right? In my adult life, I've received an upgrade to the term, this isn't Asian, this is not an Asian soup, but I don't feel like getting any other wine out, so I'm using shosheng wine to deglaze. Why? Because we can. Because we can. And we're also going to go in with our celery and garlic now. I'm so glad I didn't forget. I don't measure anything. I cook with intuition. I can't remember if I talked about that in the first episode, but just cook with feeling. I mean, maybe use measurements and stuff at first, but as much as you can, taste things individually, right? taste as much as you can as you're cooking, right? So that when you add each individual thing, you know what that thing is doing. And so over time, I can look and say, this looks like a good amount of celery for my soup, but maybe this is definitely way too much, right? And I just know that because I just do, because I've practiced it enough. And over time, I've understood what a certain amount of celery looks like. This is some Tuscan kale, the good stuff, man. I think my favorite part of moving to Atlanta has been being able to enjoy the grocery shops. I don't think it's correct to say Oriental market. Having an Asian market, sure. Having an Asian market nearby, like within 20 minutes of me, is such a godsend. Wow. On top of Asian things, there's also just like a ton of variety in produce. And that's been awesome. So it's like, yeah, I want an eggplant. Well, do you want a Persian eggplant? Do you want a Chinese eggplant? You have kale. Do you want Tuscan kale like this? Or do you want more of a Western style of kale, like what most people are used to seeing in their big box stores, right? Their Kroger's, their Walmart's. Okay, that's cooking down. Garlic is in, celery's in. Cool. I'm gonna go in with some salt just to try to draw some more water out of the veg that I've already put in. For kale, you should just be able to pull it straight off of the stem, like so. Yeah, magical. I should probably be faster, but you know, c'est la vie. I think actually if I cook at a faster pace like this, it might make me think faster, which can maybe make the yap a little more realistic. It's as if you're really here listening to me talk. Gotta love parasociality. Is that a word? Parasocialness? Something. For those of you that don't know, I'm studying psychology. I plan to be a therapist one day. And currently, being a professor is also in my plans, my long-term plans. I just think it'd be really fun to teach at the collegiate level. Because by that time, right, in undergrad, maybe not as much in terms of like specialized students. Like people change majors, right? They change their mind on certain careers, they drop out. So in your undergrad, maybe not as much, but definitely in grad school, you're working with people who this is their passion. This is what they want to do. They're going to get out of this program and get into a career in the field that you're teaching them about. So it's awesome working with that kind of enthusiasm and passion and just being around that every day. The director of the program that I plan to, of my dream program that I hope to get into, he does a lot of studies with the LGBTQ population and disability, the intersections between those two. And it's like written in heaven, because for me, as someone with ADHD, and while I'm not gay or trans, I do consider myself an ally of those communities. And I also am very fascinated by them, and I think it's just because of the lack of research that has been done. Something that goes, it's crazy because when it comes to, I need water. It's crazy because the same minorities that are ostracized, that are oppressed, are also invisible when it matters too. So, like in research, there's not really much representation for gay individuals, queer individuals, for those with differing gender identities, right? So non-binary, trans, etc., intersex even, which that's not gender, but you know, those people are not represented in research, and that sucks. So I think that too, when I say fascination, it's not some like morbid curiosity or like fetishization of an entire class of people. It's more so like, yeah, they they get the short end of the stick when it comes to research. And it's like that could be valuable research to develop more effective therapies for people who, especially in today's America, really need those therapies, right? I mean, you guys see well, I hope you see the erasure of trans identities in our own government websites and at government facilities and museums and things. And it's really sucky, you know? So they already got it bad. And then on top of that, there's not enough research to tell them how to deal with them having it bad. It's part of the reason too that you have such tight-knit communities, is because you can't figure that shit out on your own. I mean, you can. You certainly can, and there's plenty of individuals who do, and they're very impressive and strong for it. However, it's difficult to figure out on your own. For other people, they can go and look at what the research says for their, given conditions. If you're a straight white male, it's really easy to look at research that has been conducted on straight white men and say, yeah, this certain type of therapy would work for me because it worked for all these other straight men. But if you are gay, or if you are a black trans woman, right, there's going to be no research for you. And so when you have extraneous circumstances, and God forbid, rare physical, mental, emotional ailments, there's not going to be much specific to you and your individual identity. You just got to hope that what works for you works for you. And we've seen that in Western medicine. It's part of the reason why black people, especially black men, have such lower life expectancies than something like a white male or a white woman, is because the stuff that you try to apply to them does not work. It doesn't apply the same way, right? A black man very likely may not have the same heart or the same genetics or the same lifestyle or the same, there's so many things, right? There's so many things that impact someone's, I'm gonna move you. This is what soup is looking like. Hello, we're really close, aren't we? We're pals. So yeah, this is soup. Hello, soup. So we're gonna cook this down a ton, and then I'm gonna chop up and throw my butternut squash in there as well. So it's kind of just a big mix of veggie soup. We've lost a decent amount of water, but in what we've lost in water, once I blend this up and we get a pretty smooth consistency, I'm gonna go back in with our milk. We love you, dairy. We're going with our milk and our cheese, and yeah, add a little more saltiness and creaminess and mouthfeel to this. It's time for an audible. Okay, where are you? There you are. I see you. Saltmeister. Come on, come on. Doenjang. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced doenjang. Doenjang? D-O-E-N jang. Kind of like miso, but Korean. I could be really wrong when I say that. But yeah, oh wow, kerploop. It's gonna give this a lot of saltiness, some umami, almost like a earthy flavor that I get from doenjang. Briny. So a lot of stuff going on. I think it's gonna go good with this. Because I have not added any salt. So I'm gonna go in with some salt to the soup yet. So I think this would be a good addition. So yeah, I guess I can show you what the soup looks like now. So this is our soup post-boiling. Stirring in the doenjang now. If there's anyone who speaks Korean or knows the Korean pronunciation, first off, correct me if I'm wrong. Second off, sorry if I'm saying it wrong and it's like nails on chalkboard to you. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of milk, not a ton, just enough to change the color so that evidently we can get some creaminess, you know, get a little cool mouthfeel going on. As you can see, it's starting to get really silky. So after I've added the doenjang, I'm just gonna start to taste, Add salt as needed, add some black pepper. Off camera, I did make croutons. I figure it's probably also about time to throw in our zucchini. Our zucca. So this here is going to cook and get soft and be a cool thing to chew on while we're drinking our entirely smooth soup. All right, guys, so our soup is looking quite nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and ladle this in to our bowl. And to finish off, we're just gonna go with a little bit of cheese and a little bit of crouton, as I mentioned before. Okay, and here we are as advertised. Soup, little butternut squash soup. Nice and simple, but such a nice hearty meal. If I were to spruce this up, maybe add some sage or some rosemary. But otherwise, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So yeah, guys, tonight was definitely more of a simple meal. I just wanted to make sure that there weren't any hitches. As I mentioned before, this was the third attempt to film the second episode of YAPMEALS. I went into the series thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna make these grand statements with every episode, and while it's gonna be partially true for some, it's gonna be nights like this where it's a Wednesday night. I have to make something to eat, and I just want you to be along for it. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate the fact that there's even one person who's willing to sit down for 20, 30, however long this episode is gonna be. Listen to me talk about nothing and cook. As far as audience interaction goes, I definitely want to find other ways to incorporate you guys. So if anyone has any suggestions, for sure let me know. I'm considering taking meal suggestions, like if there's stuff that people want to see me cook. Of course, I'm vegetarian, so that does limit me in some ways. Also topic suggestions, if there's certain things that are going on in the world or certain things that you're dealing with or you just want to hear my thoughts on whatever my thoughts are worth. For sure, leave that in the comments. I'd love to have a real conversation with you guys and not just be talking to myself and you guys watching whatever it is that I have to say to myself. So, media suggestion. I want to do that every episode. It's fall time. Go watch Over the Garden Wall. I think that's it for tonight. I'm ready to eat soup. So thank you for watching. It's the final outro, and take care until next time.